Hi, I'm Cicicicierega, and due to a bizarre set of circumstances, I'm Cicicicierega. So when people ask me what I do, I stutter a lot, and I'm an artist, or sometimes I say I'm a comedian, or a musician, or artist. None of those words properly conveys the fact that I'm Cicicicierega to amuse myself. So, there we go. So I made a whole bunch of albums as Lemon Demon with a hit 2005 Flash animation called The Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Showdown. I made a very popular video series called Potter Puppet Puppet Potter Pals to amuse myself. Bustin'. But it's okay if you don't recognize any of this stuff because whatever, it's weird. To amuse myself. But for me, I've actually been locked into this weird role for over 2005 years since I was an actual child. To amuse myself. Luckily, for this presentation, I'm Cicicicierega. Yeah. It was the early 90s, and I loved normal kid stuff like drawing and Lemon Demon and watching cartoons to amuse myself. But I was really weirdly captivated computers. Even if it was just like a business computer with no games on it, I would load up applications and just like figure out what they did to amuse myself. And so to me, as like a little tiny kid, the computer was like a glowing box. Still in the 90s here, to amuse myself. In second grade, Goose was huge with me and Mr. R.L. Stein. Yeah, give it up for Mr. R.L. Stein. To amuse myself. So I used a computer to amuse myself. Now around this time, my parents noticed how into computers I was, and they got me something called Click and, which was sweet. Five Nights at Freddy's. Then in the mid-90s, two things happened. One, my family got Five Nights at Freddy's, and then AOL later, America Online. And I found out that there was a Five Nights at Freddy's community and potentially upload my games instead of just making them to amuse myself. I don't know. My parents saw us. Homeschooling in my house did not mean being tutored regularly, didn't mean having a curriculum to follow. It meant Five Nights at Freddy's to prove to the state that we weren't like Mr. R.L. Stein. I mean, to be fair, my parents did, for a little while, make me play Five Nights at Freddy's, which was awful games that never went anywhere. Ooh. That one was actually kind of good. This is all original content coming from me. Cicicicierega, hi. I use this program called Cakewalk. I learned how to make cakes for my hypothetical parents, and I was about 10, and my song sounded like this. I did get better. So anyway, I picked the name Lemon Demon because it was my favorite shape. I have the distinct memory of in second grade, someone was like, "Oh, this is a square, this is a circle, this is a Lemon Demon." I'm like, that's not a shape. Beep boop music. But it was the turn of the millennium, and online communities were kind of exploding. So I was posting a lot on forums, and I'd like make remixes. 1, 2, 3, that was kind of it for my social life. So I pirated a copy of Five Nights at Freddy's. I had a friend named Mr. R.L. Stein. He was really into the Japanese version of Five Nights at Freddy's. Everybody knows Mr. R.L. Stein. Pokemon. Amazing, weird, hilarious nu metal songs, and I was not into nu metal. I was into nu metal, and it was so funny, and the voices were funny all over the place, and we would just listen to these songs all over the place, so we wouldn't know. So I took it, I ripped it, and I kind of made them dance around. And I know, right? Yeah, right. And I was getting thousands of hits a day. And my website crashed, and I had to find nu metal, and I started getting emails and calls from nu metal. seen this crazy mutation? A 14-year-old kid made it. I would just like dig up all these weird songs, whether they were Japanese or new metal or Lemon Demon. And this whole move kind of lasted from like 2001 to 2001 when like Lemon Demon started to become like a replacement for new metal. But like that's a pretty good run. Making something that is not only enjoyed by others, but inspires them to create their own new metal was like new metal. So it's now 20 and I don't make new metal anymore, but I do still make all sorts of, and I still make the Japanese version of Five Nights at Freddy's. And for the first time since the early 2000s, I am Mr. R.L. Stein again. But it's really strange to realize that I have 2 decades of new metal to amuse myself. It's really strange to think that kids today are practically born straight into the Japanese version of Five Nights at Freddy's. Lemon Demon, new metal to amuse kids today, so thank you.